Today, I'm excited. I got a lot of good stuff for everybody. On this webinar, I'm going to be going through basically everything about social media and specifically for fencing or decking companies, and just some ways that you can use social media to get more lead flow, and help grow your businesses and get more leads. So these are just kind of an outline of what we're going to cover here today. So first things, we're going to talk about how do you create actual video content for social media, since that's what's going to get the most engagement. And we're going to be going through actually a weekly planning process that you can put together for your posting, because it's tough to, find the time to do that every single week. And then we're going to be talking about a video framework, which is going to make it much easier to come up with ideas and have a plan for your social media outreach. And then we're going to be talking about syndicating that content. So once we have it collected, we're going to be talking about how you can spread it across different social media channels and, get as much reach as possible. And then the last thing, repurposing that content too. Taking one piece of content, you can chop up video, put it on different social media channels. You can get really creative, and although it does seem daunting, it seems like a really tough task. There's ways to make it easier, and that's what the whole goal of this webinar is, to go through some different ways to do that. All right, so if you wouldn't mind, just turn off your cell phone, different notifications. I know that it goes off all the time. I'm going to do the same thing. There's going to be a lot of stuff. My team and I spent a lot of time putting this all together. And I'm really confident that social media, if you do it right, it absolutely can help your business and, help strengthen your brand and get more leads over time. And, we all know social media is everywhere. So we'll be going through all kinds of good stuff with that. And then who am I and why should you listen to me? My name is Alex Danner, and I'm the CEO and of Fence and Deck Marketers and the founder of it too. And I've been doing digital marketing for around 10 years, a little bit over. But it is what I love to do, and that's the reason I built Fence and Deck Marketers, was to go after one specific niche. After having good results with those types of clients in my previous agency, I wanted to really focus on these types of businesses. And then also done a good bit of fencing work myself. My farm up in Pennsylvania, we got 300 acres of high fence. So putting that together is really tough. So the combination of that, working with these clients already, is kind of why I made the decision to do that. But we have started a podcast too. It's pretty new, but we've got already about, I think, 15 or so episodes created. We're just launching that over time. So if you're ever, driving at the gym or whatever and bored, we're going to be putting some good stuff on there so you can listen to while you're on the go. So you don't have to be, in front of a screen like you're doing now. But let's keep going. All right. So Fence and Deck Marketers, it's, as you would imagine, that's all we do is work with fencing or decking companies. So my team and I, that's basically all we do all day, is work on, fencing websites, decking websites, and do, work with different types of digital marketing to generate leads. So that's, just a little bit summary of the business. But the whole strategy that we do implement comes off of a system called our omnipresence marketing system. So this is kind of basically a way that you can get more leads and kind of break it into more digestible actions. So the first thing you have to do is, of course, get as many opportunities as possible. So, there's a lot of ways to get opportunities, a lot of ways to get leads. And, especially in 2023, everything from social media, SEO through your website, Google ads, Facebook ads, there's all kinds of ways to get opportunities. But, there's a big difference between tactics and strategy. So, a strategy is going to be your actual action plan that you have, to achieve your goals and, what you want to do with your business. And then the tactics are going to be the individual steps and actions that you take towards that strategy. So when you're looking at SEO, social media, pay-per-click, they're all tactics. They're not a strategy. So, if you want to grow your business and, continue to add crews and things like that, you need to have an overall strategy that fits those goals. And that's going to get you the amount of leads and, lead flow that you need to grow the business. So the second part is going to be brand impressions. So right now, there used to be an old advertising rule that said you need people to find your brand 7 times before they make a decision. And now with everything just crazy, everybody's on social media, everybody's online, there's advertisements everywhere. They say it's more like 21 now, so about quite a bit more. And a great thing about that is, especially because we're talking about social media today, you can use social media. It's a free platform to create all kinds of content, so people remember your business, and you get those brand impressions. So when the time comes, they can reach out to you. And then third is going to be conversions. So you have to get these leads coming in. People have to know about you. But the third one is going to be conversions. You actually have to convert them when they get to your website or to your different online assets. But there was a study that said about 70% of buying decisions in the 2020s, 2020 on, about 70% of the buying decisions will be made before the phone call. So what that means is kind of what we're talking about here. You got to get people understanding your brand, building that trust with them over time. And social media is a great way to do that. And we're going to be talking about ways you can, build trust through your videos, through your posts and things like that. And if you kind of want some proof that we do what, we preach, we do what we preach. I think that's the wrong way to say it, but we with these webinars, with social media posts, we're doing the same kind of stuff. We do these webinars to build value. We're not super salesy. We want to build trust over time. So that's kind of the whole process here. And the social dilemma, they did a Netflix documentary about this, and I'm sure some of you have seen it. And basically, social media was built obviously to suck us all in. It's built to waste our time pretty much, to have us go there and just look at random stuff online. And most people are guilty of it. Probably not all, not everybody, but the whole idea is, it's tough for people to get away from it. It's not great to be on there just kind of scrolling through random stuff, but it is a absolute phenomenal tool for social media. For businesses. So having your social media platforms correctly, optimized and you're posting consistently is a great way to take advantage of that, for better or worse. But it's a great way to get eyeballs when they're, already hooked to these devices. But put a 1 in the chat if you would. If you think you should be posting to social media, but you aren't. And put a 2 in there if you just don't think it's a great use of your time. You're not convinced. All right, got a couple 1s. Scott, Chris, and James, thank you. Yeah. So of course it's important. It's just a tough task. It's very hard to sit down and start, I guess, because you're like, great, everyone says create video. How am I going to do that? I don't know anything about video editing. I don't know anything about anything. Where do I start? And I've been there. Okay, so Julia, nice. So she's doing 3 to 4 posts a week. Perfect. That's typically what we'll do for clients too. So that's a great job there. But a lot of people have trouble with, me included. It took me a while to get started. And then April said, we try to post a few times a week. Great. Yep. Everything's, something's better than nothing. A lot of times it'll take, we see once a year. So if you can do, once a week more, 3 to 4 is really good. It's better than, it's going to help get your name out there. But what we typically see is inconsistency. So, especially with contractors, but most businesses in general, it's just kind of a big problem to consistently do it. Sit down like Julia's doing 3 to 4 posts per week. Most people have trouble kind of fitting that in if they haven't done it with their busy schedule. They're out building fences or decks, they're supervising the jobs, whatever their role is in their business, depending on the size and where they're at. But I'm sure that you've seen competitors, that you follow maybe on social media, and you go there and you see they're posting something. You always see them up there. They're posting some kind of video, some kind of post, and they just continuously show up. And you're just wondering, what are they doing? How are they getting up there? That kind of thing. But every time you see them, you're like, I should be doing that, but where do I start? So I'm hoping we can help out with that when I go through this presentation. But it can be easy to say there's not enough time. I've been there too. But if you set it aside in your calendar, block it off. That's what we're going to be talking about. Easy ways to consistently do it. A lot of times what we see is people think it just takes so much creativity, just people that make these videos. And granted, there's a lot of popular influencers and stuff online where they make these amazing videos. It's not necessary to make crazy high-end, Hollywood type videos. In most cases, ones that are very candid, actually go a long way, because people get an understanding of you, and that builds trust. Just having knowing you're a real person, you're working with someone that's real, and that kind of sticks in their mind when they need somebody to work with their fence or deck. But you kind of sit down, you wonder what you want to post about, and you're just not really sure. You can't really think of good ideas. You're trying to create maybe like the perfect video. You don't want to create something that's going to be embarrassing. I get it. It definitely, most people get stuck in that procrastination stage. Also, you could be posting content is just not pulling. So you're posting things, you come up with this nice caption, this nice photo, video, whatever, you post it there and it's just crickets. Nobody's responding to it. That is pretty much guaranteed to happen if you're just getting started. And it's just discouraging. You're like, what is the point of doing this? Nobody sees it. Why am I even bothering? So it's definitely a consistent thing we need to be doing over time. And again, we'll be getting into this here in a second. So, but at the end of the day, all these inconsistencies, the lack of traction you're getting, it's just going to end up in failure. You're not going to have that authority that you want in the area. You're going to have low positioning and just lower organic momentum. Okay, so what is that hardest part, of creating that content for you? I think what's a lot of people struggle with, and I have myself as well, is just being authentic to yourself, coming up with topics that I guess you come up with that you think might be a good idea, but you don't want to post it because you think it might not resonate. Stuff like that happens a lot, and you don't want to have also a very salesy type video that's going out there. So if you're just constantly promoting yourself, asking for different things, people are going to have a lot of problems with that. So I see Scott said finding things to talk about. Yep. So that's a big one here, and we'll be going through that to kind of outline some different topics they can talk about. But at the end of the day, you want to be relevant. You want to think about the questions that your customers are having and create something that's going to provide value, or just something that's cool. I mean, building a fence or a deck and getting the inner workings is going to be really interesting to most people. But that's, like I said, this is what I do with the webinars. You just got to think of things that could possibly help them and create content based off of that. And then at the end, the content should just need to flow. Once you start doing it consistently, it's going to get easier. You're going to have a better understanding of how it works. You want to be creating content that's going to be, easy to produce, easy to come up with topics, and then something that's going to be easily digestible by your customers. But it should just be short, powerful bits of information that, just is interesting in some way to your customers or potential customers. Okay, so we're going to be talking a little bit about frameworks, because I use this example because it's, I'm sure most people here have used that in kindergarten, paint by numbers. You want to have an outline of the posts that you create with social media. That's kind of like your framework on the left. And then from there, you just kind of plug in the content within that framework. So that's what we're going to be doing with social media. That's what we're going to be talking about here. You start with a framework and then add the sections within that framework. Because once you have that consistency and you have that plan, that's when you start being more prolific. You're going to see people are going to see your content all over the internet, and that's going to lead to customers remembering you. So when they do need help with their fence or deck, you're the one they think of, and it also helps with the Facebook algorithm. So like Julia was saying, 3 to 4 times a week, that's typically what we do too, and it's a great way to satisfy the Facebook algorithm and get consistent posts coming. So that's basically what Facebook wants to see. They don't want to see you posting once a month. So at the end of the day, all of this is not about becoming an Instagram influencer or something. It's all about just getting more leads in your market. So, success is just going to be more business, more money for your companies. And, it's like that old analogy of a drill. People don't buy a drill because they want a drill. They buy it because they want a hole. They want the result. So we're not doing social media content because you want to do it, although it can get more fun than you think after a while once you get better at it. But you want it because you want an end result. And, once you have that consistently posting and start to get more traction within your customers, that's when you're going to get more business, create more authority in the space. And really the best thing about social media marketing is it's all free. Everybody gets a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok channel, I think they call them, all for free. So the lead cost, once you're established, is going to be much lower if you consistently do this. You're going to have to pay for leads. You have to pay for the time. Time is money. But in the end, you're going to get leads that are coming in for much cheaper. So you don't have to worry about the big budgets with pay-per-click or Facebook ads. It's just free to post there. All right. So we're going to be talking about these 5 key principles for creating this content. So we're going to outline a bunch of things. And the first one's going to be, you have to come up with topics in advance. So put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you could come up with topics pretty easily. If you find it be pretty simple to sit down and think of things that people would resonate with. But drop a 2 in the chat if you think it'd be tough. It'd be really hard to come up with enough posts for, say, 3 to 4 times per week. All right. Julia is on top of her game. It sounds like she has a lot of this social media figured out. which is great. Chris, Scott, Anthony, James look like they're two. So most were two. So coming up with those topics definitely seems hard in the beginning. I guess once you kind of get in that frame of mind, you're gonna start thinking of topics all over the place. If you're sitting there and you're saying I need 3 to 4 posts per week, and that's in your mind, you go on a call and you're doing something with sales or anything day to day, with the business. Eventually, you start to think of different things, and you don't have to be too picky either. If you think it might be somewhat interesting, you can post it, and then you'll be able to tell really quickly if people found it engaging and things like that based off of the likes and traction and engagement that you're getting. But if you're, I'm sure the receptionist that works for you, or if you're picking up the phone calls, you get questions all the time about different things. How long will it take to build the fence or deck? What types of fencing or decking do you do? What types of materials do you use? And what recommendations you might have on the types of fence or deck for your property? Sitting at the kitchen table, if you're doing an estimate on build day, there's so many different parts of the process that you can think where customers come to you with different questions. Writing all these down, having an inventory or a library of different post ideas is what you really want to come up with first. And then from there, once you have those different topics, you want to shoot all this video in batches. So you take, an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe three, and actually sit there one day a week, put it on the calendar and post. So as an example, every Tuesday morning, I set aside, 2 to 3 hours and I'll post social media videos. I'll create them and then I'll send them, I'll get them edited. And then from there, I'll actually, put them, schedule them out and post them on social media over time. But I know time can always, or stuff can always get in the way of your time. You're out and about doing a million different things each day. So without putting it on the calendar, it's going to be really tough to stick to it. And that's what I found. If I just said, hey, I'll do it once a week, but I didn't set it aside, there's always something that comes up. There's always something to do. So find a day that, really works best for you. Typically Mondays are busy for everybody. Maybe it's later in the week, set aside one morning, one afternoon. I typically like the mornings because I'm a little bit fresher then and, not so worn down by the day or whatever. So just got to come up with a good time to do that. And then this is where we're going to start talking about how you can actually create the frameworks for your posts, which is going to make it much easier to create the post over time. So when we create these videos, we're not like writing an exact script for everything. We want to create a framework that's going to outline what it should be, what we should be saying in each post. And then from there, we can just talk naturally into the camera and just follow this framework. I'm going to outline that in here in a second, but you're really just trying to hit the key points within this video. You're not supposed to get super detailed, and it's just let it flow naturally, and over time it'll get a lot easier. And then from there, you need to amplify your reach. So once you have consistent posting, you want to be spreading it across different channels. So we're going to be talking about different ways you can spread it across all the different social media channels. Posting the same post in multiple areas is perfectly fine. And then last thing is removing yourself from posting. So one thing that I think a lot of people that haven't been doing social media posting, maybe they haven't heard of, scheduling software, or now you can actually do it with Facebook and Instagram, schedule your posts. So it seems like, okay, I have to create a video every, 3 to 4 times a week, off on weekends potentially. So, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I got to sit down, create a post and then schedule it. That would take a ton of time. And that's why we block off one day, create the video, and then we can use tools to actually schedule it for you. So you only have to worry about this one day a week, and then the rest of it can be scheduled. You want it to be on autopilot, so it's a lot easier for you. So this book here, the content rules, is pretty cool because it outlines like how social media works. Because when I read this, I could not believe the stats behind it. So they talk about the 1-9-90 rule in this book. So 1% of all the people online on social media are just creators. The ones that are actually creating the stuff that we watch and look at every day. They say 1% of people are doing that. 9% are contributors. So these are the ones that like or comment on posts, engage with other people's posts. And then 90% are lurkers. So 90% of people are just sitting there watching from the background. They don't like a single post. They just go through and watch it. And what's interesting is if you kind of look at when you do social media posting, you can see if people are viewing your content, but you're not getting likes. So you have all this, this high, super high view numbers. you can get hundreds or thousands of views, but you have very few likes. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense because there's a lot less people doing it. So that just kind of gives you an idea that when you're posting, even though you might not be getting a ton of likes or engagement, people are still viewing it. They're just skipping over it. And the whole idea behind this is you want to get brand impressions. You want people to understand the business and know about you. And even if they're just seeing you for a couple seconds before they keep scrolling, if you're consistently doing that, that's how it's going to stick in their mind for when the time comes and they need some help. Okay, so you want to have the content bite-sized. So 2 to 3 minutes or less, and maybe even less than that, actually, which I'll talk about here in a second. But 65% of all the Facebook videos come from mobile users. So you need to make sure everything looks good on your mobile devices. And then most people, 85%, watch the videos with the sound off. So you've probably seen videos where people just have like the comments as they go. I'm a big, I'm definitely falling that 85%. I don't put on the sound. I just, watch it as I go and I read it. And most people aren't going to watch more than 10 seconds. So when I show you our framework, we're going to show you how to get in your videos to like hook them, stay for longer than 10 seconds, because most videos aren't doing that. They're not engaging the audience really quickly to get them to stay. They're just going off of it. But video now is just so big that you just can't really ignore it. TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook, they're all videos, YouTube Shorts now too. So it's not going anywhere. It's only going to grow more and more. But you want to have 2 to 3 minutes or less. But if you're posting to social media like Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and TikToks, their cutoff is 90 seconds, and YouTube Shorts, I believe, is 60 seconds. So if you're going to do 2 to 3 minutes, you can chop those up and have them shorter depending on where you want to post it. There's different ways you can do it, but if you want to do Reels, 90 seconds or less is what you want to do. Okay, so what I see pretty often is constantly posting the same type of post. So you don't want to have just all before and after pictures. You want to mix it up. So I'm sure you've seen this, somebody that's a business owner, Facebook friend, all you really see is before and after, before and after, before and after, before and after. It's the same thing every time. And it's, again, better than nothing. It's great to see your work, but you want to have something else in it too. You want to be talking about different things, and mixing it up with some videos is a great way to do that. All right, so now we're going to be getting into the actual frameworks and kind of how you actually achieve these different videos. So first things first, everybody has a smartphone, I would imagine, ideally one new. So if you're running like an iPhone 6, maybe you might want to upgrade that, but you don't need a professional camera. An iPhone 14, 15, 13, one of the more modern ones is going to be all you really need to create these videos. And, you of course could use a professional videographer if you wanted, or you can use someone in your office, hire an intern. That's going to be the cheaper route. And, you hire someone young, they're going to know how to use phones anyways. So that's typically one of the better routes, is to have someone that can kind of follow you around and, and create content off the videos that you do. But with these frameworks here, so actually this one, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This is going to be an example of your content plan. So as we said, you got to sit down and kind of get an understanding of different things that you could talk about that people might find interesting. So as an example, these are some of the different categories that you can select from. So a success story, character story, teach on a topic, motivation, be the expert. So as an example, a success story, that could be just a before and after, of a recent project. So after a project, when you finish it up, say, hey, out there, hey, everybody, this is Alex at A+ Fencing and Decking. We just finished up this fencer deck, and then talk about the family you did work for, saying, we just got done working with, Mary, and she just had, bad windstorm, hurricane, tornado that came through and blew their fence off, or, they had a tree that landed on their deck, or they just had an old deck that they wanted upload to or upgrade to composite. Tell a little bit of a story, talk about who you were just dealing with. That's going to help engage people and, keep them watching your video longer. And then a character story. So this could be pretty basic stuff. You can see here, like your favorite book. If you're talking about, I follow a lot of content like this, people that share their different, little hacks or whatever for business. But books are a pretty common one. They say, I just read 10X, or I just read, I don't know, whatever book. I'm blanking on other ones right now, but whatever book that they like, share with your audience, and give them some kind of takeaways, some feedback that you drew from it, and people resonate with that. Teach on a topic. So this is a very easy one, for you guys, especially when you're out in the field. People are asking, do I need to repair or replace my deck? Or what is the cost of a vinyl fence? Which type of fence is best for me? When you're teaching on these different topics, you're establishing authority, and you're also building trust. The fact that you're going out of your way to show this to somebody, that person that wants to hear that information is going to be intrigued, and that's going to build some trust with them. And then, motivation, this could be a really easy one. Like your favorite mantra or quote, something that you consistently like to quote yourself or whatever. And then, be the expert. You can talk about actually going through, as an example, building the fence or a deck, going through and showing like the different types of tools that you use. You don't have to show the entire thing. That would be a very long video, but a lot of people think it's cool to see how you build a deck or how you build a fence. Not saying you have to give them like an exact blueprint, but the ones that want an exact blueprint probably aren't your target customer anyways. So you can go into some detail and show what exactly you're doing, and people will resonate with that too. But just having this plan here is just so powerful, because you're not going to have to think about what to say or when you kind of sit down. You just create all the topics. I'm going to show you how to put that into a framework. And then one day you sit down and you record all the videos. So it's not like you have to sit there, think of one topic, and then go to video and then edit it. You break it up. It makes it a lot easier to focus on one thing, then go to the next, then the next, and eventually scheduling them. Okay, so this is the framework here that you can follow for each one of your videos. So they say, it takes, 21 days to create a habit. So if you consistently do these posts, you consistently follow this framework, eventually this is going to become a habit, because it's not going to be fun and easy in the beginning, but over time, consistently follow the framework and come up with posts, it's going to get much easier. So the framework kind of goes like this. The promise, this is what you're telling them you're going to do. This is going to say, this is a problem. This is how I'm going to solve it for you. That's going to be the hook that keeps them watching the video. So you're not like that, the stat I just showed you were 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds, they leave. You want to have some kind of promise, tell them what you're going to be talking about, and then go into it. You can also add some branding. So you say, hi, this is Alex from A+ Fencing and Decking, and then go into the seed. So the seed is an overview of what you're going to be training them on. And by the way, I'm going to go into an example of all these here in a second. And then the topic or the training is what you're actually talking about. And then the call to action is, if you want to reach out, give me a ring at 555-5555, that kind of thing. And then this is an example of one. So you can kind of get an idea of what the framework would look like. So, the promise on this video, I'm going to show you how to determine which fence type is best for your home or deck type. Hi, this is Alex Danner from A+ Fencing and Decking. This is one of the most common questions that we get from homeowners. We will be going through different types of fence and which are best for which situations or decks. You have options with wood, vinyl, chain link, etc., or composite wood, a pressure treated cedar, whatever for decks. And we think that these types might be best for the conditions and areas you live in. So you can give specifics to your area and what's best for those areas based on weather and stuff like that. And then if you would like to receive a detailed estimate on a new fence or deck, please visit our website where you can schedule a free estimate. And then you sign off. Thanks for watching this video. I look forward to talking with you soon. So this is just one way you could kind of talk about it or kind of outline your videos, just have that framework laid out, kind of plug and play based on the topic you want to go after. And that's going to make it much easier to create these posts. All right. So what I'd like to do is a video exercise. So I hope I'm not scaring anybody. I won't be, through Zoom or anything, but I just want to talk about some ways that, or actually get some ideas that you can go through yourself, so you have something to start with. So, money is going to follow speed. Money loves speed. So the main reason I want to do this is because I know if you kind of take too much time to get started, then time goes on, fires come and you got to put those out, and then it just goes on and on until you forget about it. So what I'd like to do is if you can pick 3 topics that you can create a video based off of. So again, it could be a customer question, It could be something that you're going through the field to, showing them how to work. So I would like to, if you could pull out a pen and paper or type it out, something like that. Just think about some questions that your customers have and put down 3 different topics that you could do. I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to write those down. All right. I think that was a couple minutes. So what I'd like you to do or challenge you to do is when you get off the call, try and shoot these videos. They do not have to be perfect whatsoever. In fact, they're just not supposed to be. If it's the first time you're doing it, I know that, sorry, I see Scott okay. So I see Scott put on storm damage, affordable fences, safety and security. Okay. But yeah, when you go to make these videos, I know some of them might require you to be in the field, but if you can just come up with something where you're talking and just coming up with some kind of value. You don't have to post this, but if you can sit there and try to shoot 3 videos, typically when I do them, I'm constantly deleting them because I want them to be better. So that's fine. You're not gonna, forget what you have to say, a million times. I think that's just normal. At least it was for me. But try to do these videos at 1 minute each. The reason I say that for these ones especially is because then you can actually post them as a reel if you wanted to. So if you can sit there, put your phone in front of your face, if you have a tripod or something. If not, by the way, those are very cheap on Amazon, like $20 or something. You can get a tripod so you don't have to hold it. Get a selfie stick if you want to get fancy, but create the video, outline that. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about sounding dumb. Don't be critical on yourself because you probably sound a lot better than you think. And then just have a couple videos that you can post. Just record them on your phone. If you have a webcam on your computer, you could use that too. But again, don't overthink it. Just try to create those. And then if you want to post them, if you're feeling brave, feel free to do that. And you can tag us on social media, tag Fence and Deck Marketers. I'd be happy to share it if you'd like, or I'd give you any kind of feedback on things I think you could do differently. Okay. But just try it, see what it's like, try to push past the stage of feeling, a little bit silly for doing it. But the quicker you do it, the quicker you're going to be able to get a routine going. And then you can, from there, just kind of build on that. Once you realize it's not too hard, you can kind of build on that from there. Okay. So once you have the content, what's great about it is you can repurpose it for other types of social media. So it's not like you have to create one video that's only for Instagram or even just Instagram Reels. You can repurpose that content and use it for other things as well. So as an example, they say your posts will only show up about 3 to 5% of the time on feeds for the people that follow you if you don't get any engagement. If you do get engagement, 10 to 15% of the people, it'll show up. So what's good about that is if you post the same thing, don't do it like right after each other, but you can post something that's old. If it's still valuable, you could have a piece of content that you post from, maybe you did a like spoke at a conference, or you just did a video or testimonial video from a long time ago. It doesn't really matter when it was done as long as it's still relevant. So you can take that content, post it now, and it's just an easy way to consistently post over and over again. But if you kind of look at that math, if you have say you have 1,000 followers and only 30 people, so 3% see it, you don't really have to worry about reposting. So that's only 30 people out of the 1,000. So you post again, you'll get ideally another 30 people. So you can post from older content. But what's really nice, if you do some longer videos, as an example, like these webinars, I can repurpose them into YouTube videos, like cut the videos up into multiple things. So if you sit down, you do a live video that's a little bit longer, you can chop that up and post it onto social media that way. So start with one long video, cut it up, post the highlights or the best parts, and then have that there. So you can have one long piece. You just need somebody that can cut it up for you. But typically keeping it short is better. But there's sometimes you just can't fit it all. If you're going through and showing off the highlights of a deck or a fence, it might take you longer than, just 60 to 90 seconds. But the whole point of this is to just build a library. You want to have a lot of content that you can choose from. Don't worry about it being perfect, but if you're consistently building more and more content, you're building a library, then you can post that over time. And, you don't even have to post it immediately. You could create something and then post it later down the road if you wanted to, so it doesn't go to waste. Okay, so there are tools out there that will allow you to post to social media and schedule posts. So these are just some: Sendable, Social Pilot, Sprout Social, Plannable, Media Edgar. Transparently, I don't use these. I use Go High Level, which is a CRM that allows you to post on your behalf, but it's basically the same functionality. But these are kind of standalone. These are kind of standalone services, or sorry, standalone software. So you can use these to really get all your content, put it in here, schedule it, and then some of these tools have really cool features to really filter your content and post at a certain time. So you can say, hey, I want a video to go out every day at 1 o'clock on every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, Tuesday at 3 o'clock, whatever. You can schedule all these posts out using these tools. And if you don't want to spend the money on these, that's fine too, because you can, I'm not sure if you can schedule with every social media, to be honest. I'd have to ask my team, but I know with Facebook, Instagram, you can schedule posts now. And so you can basically just go in there, upload a video and say, don't post yet, post in the future, and then pick the day and time that you want to do it. Like I said, I'm not sure if TikTok allows that, but it's probably pretty easy to find out. But these tools are going to allow you to do all that. You can also post to LinkedIn using these tools. So basically every main social media account, you can use these to post with. Okay, so all right, so your next steps are going to be, you want to sit down and customize your content plan. So that entire, month's worth of content, sit down and just think about what you can talk about, if you can sit down, just take some time, maybe talk to spouse or coworkers, employees, whatever, and think of some different things. I'm sure you guys could come up with one or a bunch of posts really quickly, especially in the beginning, because you already, there's endless solutions. Less, sorry, Julia. Sorry, Julia. She might be, I don't know how, you might be running a little bit low on topics if you're doing 3 to 4 a day, but just come up with some different topics and block that time off on your schedule every week. I think every week is best. You could technically do it once a month, but then you'd be doing it all day, and there's probably other stuff you got to get to. But depending on your schedule, how that works. But you want to shoot for creating enough content for at least 3 to 4 times per week is what you want to shoot for. And then once you're done that, you want to set up the syndication. So make sure you have access first to all your social media channels. So make sure you have a Facebook account. Make sure you have a Instagram account. You can get a TikTok account too, X, Twitter. And then LinkedIn, make sure these are all there. And these tools will allow you to post to all of them at once. So you schedule it, tell them where you want them to go, these posts to go, and it'll do it on your behalf. So you want to create that plan, block off the day to shoot the videos, and then set up the syndication so it goes to the right places. Okay, so just to kind of recap, kind of what we did and what we went through. So we went through how do you create the video content for social media, how to outline all that, as well as the planning process for posting. So what it takes to sit down and plan everything. The frameworks, which are so important and make life so much easier, and how to work through those, and also a couple examples. And then the syndication, how you take all that content, post it to all these different channels, and then repurposing it. So posting old videos if you have them, cutting up existing longer videos, that kind of thing. You can put it, repurpose it so you can consistently post, and it makes life a little bit easier. So that's what we went through. I know we went through it kind of quick, but so I would always of course do social media, but we do websites, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, all types of digital marketing. So if you ever have any questions or just want to talk social media, or just want some feedback, like we do on here, that's fine. Just reach out to us. That's the number, and then you can fill out a form if you want to go on the website. But there's also a ton more webinars on the website, and you'll see some podcast episodes where, like I said, we're new to it, so there's not many. But if you ever want more info, that's what these are all about. Just trying to give you different ways to help grow the fencer deck business and, make more money. So that's really it. That's all I got for everybody today. I hope, provided some value and everybody got some good stuff out of this. But if not, let me know and I'll try to do better for the next one. But yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of the week and a great weekend, and take care. See ya.